Joe in real life. Overhead press day. I recently watched Zach Tellender's weightlifting tutorials, Olympic weightlifting tutorials, and I think I'm gonna go through his kind of basics, fundamentals checklist for the snatch. It does look fun. Shout out to my friend James for recommending that. I did not do that today, but it inspired me to do some overhead squatting and great warm up. Absolutely outstanding warm up for overhead pressing, which is, I never really thought about it before. But of course it is. It gets the shoulders working, keeps them engaged, gets that mid upper back doing stuff. And I had a great lifting session today. My whole week of 5x5 went great, but this was easily the best. I got, I worked up to 95. I got 2 sets at 95 for 5, which is, I think last week I hit 1 set of 4 at 95. So that's, meaningful progress. The 4 was a grinder last week, and this was, I'm not going to say easy, but I had it under control, you know? Here, all I'm doing is I'm getting in that overhead position. I think this is 55 pounds, and I'm just doing a pause in the bottom. Nothing crazy, maybe 10 seconds, maybe less. Just organizing my body. Just trying to be as active as possible, just trying to have good wrist, elbow, upper back, shoulder, neck, head positions. Feeling my squat, feeling the position, and what? Like, trying to communicate with my body. That's about it, And I do think the overhead squat position is really great for this, especially the bottom of it, because it requires you to be fully awake, It's not overly difficult if you have the mobility, but you cannot be in that bottom position with anything overhead and not be engaged, not be awake, not have just good mechanics, just good proprioception, body awareness, activation, and as you lower and rise with control, there's kind of a communication that you have to have with your own body where you have to be kind. I'm struggling to think of the right word, and all I can think of is kind. But there has to be some self-compassion and some care. You're intense, of course, but you're also careful. And when your body sends you a signal that this is a no-go, you have to respect it, and you have to listen to it, and you have to negotiate. And I love positions like that. It reminds me of yoga. This is 65, and honestly, not overly challenging. I could have gone quite a bit heavier, but 65 felt like a good warm-up set for overhead press. So from here, I just segued into that. And it was a nice, easy, clear segue. I was good and warm. It's funny, between overhead press sets, I did a little ab work and laid on the floor. And in one of the sets, I almost fell asleep, which that's not a great sign. But I'm listening to the Where Did the Road Go podcast, which is a supernatural UFO podcast, and it's really fun, but the episode I'm listening to is kind of boring, and he has this really rich tenor monotone voice, and he almost lulled me to sleep. So yeah, I went through all that trouble to warm up, and then I laid on the floor. It's not overly cold today, and I was just like, yum, 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 yum. And sweet little baby curled up on a cement floor. Tried to catch some Z's. luckily that didn't happen. I'd have a hard time rebounding from that now. Um, I don't know what else to say. These presses went well. I. It's funny that this is a squat everyday channel, and routinely over the last 500 plus days, I'll lift, and obviously I have my highs and lows, ups and downs, same as anyone else, but all of my lifts dramatically improve except the squats. like like I get, man, the squat is my problem child, you know. I'm constantly in a squat plateau, you know, and like 2 steps forward, it's either I'm plateaued or 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And that 1 step back is often a massive blow to my pride, which then will result in another step back just because I get lazy and discouraged and mean spirited. I'm hoping that this plan, and I do feel like it's a good plan, but so I'll knock on wood and rub my lucky rabbit's foot. But my current plan is going to help me break this rut, which is now over a year long. I've got high hopes for it, you know. I think I have really good chances too. But sure enough, overhead press is going great. Yesterday, my Turkish get-ups were much stronger, much more confident. They looked like shit on the video, I'm sure. But man, I felt so good with that 44 overhead. Deadlifts are going great. Bench is always strong. My pressing's always strong. It's a little bit of a bummer, you know, because I don't care about pressing. And I suppose that's why it's always strong, right? It's just something I've always been able to do. I have really bad mechanics for pressing too, but for whatever reason, you know what? I think it's the yoga. I think it's all that down dog, up dog. I just have really good, sturdy joints when it comes to that work. Here's my final set, 95 for 5. I did another one afterwards, but I didn't film it. It went good. You know, no notes. I stayed strict, no push press. Maybe a tiny little bit of body English in my hips, but nothing to get excited about. And that's it for today, guys. I don't know. Kind of a snoozer of a video. Because I almost went to sleep. That's why I'm snoozing. This is Joe in real life. I love you guys. Be good to each other out there. I'm going to try hard to do the same. I got some drama in my work life, but I'm hoping to iron that out, and I will fill you in on that. Did I post it twice? I did. Weird. World champion editor here. I'll fill you in on that in a couple days. I got my kid later, so it's family time this weekend. See you tomorrow.